Hey everyone, it's Aaron from Got a Minute, and I have just got some observations and some things to present and some questions, and I'm really happy to hear you guys interested in learning Hebrew, and I think that we are going to find all the secrets in God's calendars and schedules and timelines in the language of Hebrew. I'm fully convinced now that we need to understand God's original language. He wrote the Old Testament in Hebrew. When Yeshua, was reading scriptures, he was reading it from the original text, so he would have been reading the majority of it through Hebrew. So what's the best translation? Hebrew. No other translation is the best way. And think of all the languages we have right now. Well, I mean, how many times has King James Version been translated into? As just an example, I don't know. You can Google it, probably a few hundred or whatever. The point is, the best language is Hebrew, and so we need to understand Hebrew. Every Hebrew letter has a number and it's got a meaning. And so I'm in the beginning stages of learning myself. This is interesting though. So this is more of hey, I'm just going to present something and you guys tell me what you think and educate me and pretend I'm the student here and I'm presenting it to you. Brother Dana always sends very interesting things and I'm so glad that he sent this to me, because he's a math guy and I'm a math guy, and so cool to see us hunting down the Hebrew material. So we've got a mem, we've got a tav, we've got a vav, we've got a shin, we've got a lamed, we've got a chet. And forgive me if I'm not saying everything perfect. This is a lamed, this is a mem, this is a kaf. And so here we have Methuselah, and this is the Hebrew letters, to my understanding, that represent Methuselah in Hebrew. Well, the interesting thing here, the awesome thing here is if you add up the value of Methuselah, it gets you to 784. And the Torah says that we're in year 5784. So that was the year when Methuselah died. That was the year of the flood, if you do all the math, and I'm sure you can find some answers on another way, but it's understood that when Methuselah died, that's the year of the flood, when he died. Well, and so it just so happens that the value of his name equals 784, and we are apparently in the year 784 if you follow the Torah calendar. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. Like, it's extremely interesting. Could the flood happen this year? And the other thing, too, about Methuselah, which is very interesting, is we have 6 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can't help but ignore the fact that, hey, what if every letter represents 1,000 years? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. And there you go. Pointing to second coming kind of material. That's a possibility. The other thing that I noticed here is Methuselah. Well, what's the meaning of Methuselah? And most people understand that his name means his death shall bring. And some people will just say the word man is... That just means man, or what does this other website say over here? 1 second. It says man, death, that kind of thing. So the other thing about Selah, it's a pause or a transition. So also we've got mem. Mem is another meaning for water or to cover, or a mighty water to cover. Tav is to join or to mark or to cross or to seal a covenant. And Vav is a nail or to join or to making secure. So his name meant that mighty waters would come. Right there, that's mighty waters. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that cool? Right? So think of that as a mighty wave or something. And that's like a promise. So it's kind of saying, I promise I'm going to send a mighty wave, and it's another form of joining here as well. That means destruction. So I promise that I'm bringing a mighty wave that will bring destruction. And then there's the lamed. It's got a shepherd's staff meaning. Chet, it's got a meaning of to separate, to cut off, or to protect. A separation almost from sheep and goats to a certain extent. And so I can't ignore the 30. We're looking at potentially 2030 at the moment still. And so that's some thoughts with Methuselah, man, and a pause in time and a transition, pointing to what happened at the flood. Methuselah died age 969, the oldest recorded age, I believe. And so very interesting how Methuselah could equal the year that we're in. Could the flood begin now? And then you guys remember the story of Noah. There's the 7-day warning on the ark, etc. So I'm sure we'll get into some other studies off of this thought, but just thought I would present that. And hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. Lamech was his son, who then in turn had Noah, and he lived to be 777. And I don't have my Hebrew Bible yet. It'll come in a few weeks, but I'm pretty sure that these are the 3 letters in Lamech. And so we have a Lamed, we've got a Mem, and we've got a Kaf. And, his meaning, let me see what, according to this website here, they had a hard time finding his meaning, but they were suggesting that it might mean strong man or for humiliation, but, or to bring low. Now there's 2 lines in the Bible. There's a family of Cain, and there's a line of Seth and a line of Cain. And so the Cain line and the Seth line, well, the Cain line, Lamech, it was one of the, it says, if Cain shall be avenged 7-fold, then Lamech 77 fold. So it's interesting how the bad Lamech has a 77, but then the good Lamech dies at 777. So there's something interesting about that. Again, that might come up in a future study. But I can't help but notice Lamech is a 2030. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Here we are still considering the second coming being 2030. We have yet to find out. Isn't it interesting that we have a mem in between? It's been 40 jubilees. Sorry, it's been 40 times 50 jubilees. Yeah, 40 jubilees. If you times 40 times 50 since the cross to the second coming. So that is interesting there. So, I'm on a learning curve here with all this. And so I pray that you just join me on this Hebrew learning adventure, really, and walk away from the translation war, and let's learn Hebrew together. That's what we should be reading, Hebrew and Greek, but particularly Hebrew. I'm just so confident that we're going to find our secrets if we fully understand Hebrew, and we're going to be really enjoying the journey and smelling the flowers, if you will, and we might actually find his timeline. And in fact, I'm confident that we'll find his timeline through his Hebrew language, through his language, through Yeshua's language. So bear with me as I mispronounce things and misdraw things, and we learn together as we go. But I think we're going to find some hidden gems in here. So the big thing that I want you to take away here, if I'm going to review this real quick, is Methuselah. The value of Methuselah equals 784, and that's the same year that the Torah calendar is suggesting that we're in. Generally, his name means destruction by way of water, and that's what happened. And Salah means a pause. 6 letters, 6,000 years perhaps, not quite sure. Lamech 777. We're waiting for a 7-year tribulation. That's interesting. Well, we'll leave it there. If you guys have anything to add, please certainly add that. Let's expand on our Hebrew thoughts, and if you haven't done anything with Hebrew, let's learn together, okay? God bless. One day closer, see you in the clouds. Go, Jesus, go. Love you.
Hallelujah, I'll see